Yeah, yeah, I'm home. I'm home to the mess. Turns out just 7 days away from my garden, and it just all got blitzed. And yeah, bad. And the weeds just took over. I mean, I remember seeing weeds this tall, and now they're this tall, taking over the plants that I planted. So today is Saturday the 15th, and I'm glad to be home. And I did my first round of antibiotics at home by myself using my port, where I self-inject into myself, through the port. Um, and then home health had to come to see me today to set up appointments, and they came in 5 minutes. I told them, "You will not be taking my blood pressure, because I ain't gonna let it happen, and you're not sticking me with a needle." Because they said, "Well, we'll have to take blood." Yeah, you can take it from the port. So they said, "Well, we'll have to do dressing changes." What dressing? There's no dressing. It's a port. So I have a line coming off of me through the very thin needle that's what kind of goes in there, and then it gets taped down. Serge, it's like one of those clear bandages, you know, and holds it in place so they can utilize it. And yeah, normally it's like 4 days, and yeah, they didn't get it opened like this with the port. But and I don't touch it because it's for oncology. But this experience that I had at Memorial as inpatient, they really need to change their guidelines if they're going to help people. They hurt people with the needle. They do. I mean, these young nurses come in for their first night and they're like, "Oh, that's enough. It's enough." And if we have a port, it's an investment. We agreed to get it. We also took possession of it inside of us for our safety, for everyone else's safety, if we understand what it's for. And it can't be exclusive to one over the other. No, other than the fact you don't want a bunch of little nurses messing with it. Other than that, I had one my last night that yesterday that forgot to flush, and I said, "You got to flush," and oh, I've been bringing flush with me. Well, go get it. Flush the light. So they do it differently with the home health, the home pharmacy that dropped off all the pharmaceuticals. It's a big box full of syringes and stuff, and medication that has to be kept in the fridge, and then the saline solution, and then the heparin. Well, they administer heparin last, and I've been off heparin since Sunday. They took it off me because there's really no risk of a blood clot because I'm not the type of person that stays in the bed. No, I mean I filmed in the bed, but I'm up and down hallway, up and down hallway for 7 days. I've been up and down that hallway. Maybe not the first 2 nights because I was, experiencing all the ick and waiting for people to do their diagnostics and getting the CAT scan of the abdomen and doing all those different things, and then ultrasound, and then blood work, and I felt like a prisoner in there. I felt like that the FBI was behind it, that they were pulling this thing where they'll just get me off the street and have me go inpatient, and no one will ever see me again. I don't know. But I was supposed to go home Sunday, and then Monday, and then Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, and then Friday, and then they were even going to consider keeping me one more day. I'm like, okay. But finally, it's insurance. Finally, insurance stepped up and figured it out, I guess. And here I am. And so, anyways, the home health people said, "Well, there's nothing to do here. Can't take your blood pressure." It's not that they can't. I'm just telling them they won't, which means they can. Um, and they understood that. I said, "No, I'm standing my ground. I am my own advocate here. I have gone through enough trauma and others doesn't change. So there's packages to change. They can wash their hands and sit with me and I look at it and say, oh, it looks like porn. Unless they see red, then they say, well, it's getting infected. But I wouldn't let them deal with it anyways. I would just usher my butt back to the oncologist and let his office deal with it. Because they would want to pull it first and then find out what's going on. Yeah. I mean, the connection, the lead. Pull the lead. The port stays in me. And yeah, I guess I could say it's a little sore, but it's been in me since for 7 days now, or 8 days now, since last Friday. Well, no, they didn't port me till Sunday, so Sunday will be 7 days. Because it took that long before I started screaming. They were poking me with so many needles. I said, "What the fuck is going? What the hell? Get out of my room!" You crazy people. I sounded like an old person, and they respected it. And although one nurse took it personally, she came in and she was screaming at me that she, I, you know, I guess I said that I don't take priority over the dying. That's such a compliment. No, I don't have any priority over the dying. That's good news to me. So I, I've been trying to water since I woke up this morning to catch up. I flooded the front, watered the front, been out here in the back, flooding, and it's just dreary that so much got missed. That during crucial times, but I would normally be here to make sure that they got refreshed. And now it's too hot. I should be out there, but it's too hot for me because I'm acclimating. I've been out there all day. And my front yard needs mowing. The grass is like that tall. Like, what the hell? And it needs mowing, it needs trimming, but all the weeds and all the beds. And the cute that little deli buffet serving uh, container thing that I have against the fence that I was doing wildflowers. There's not everything is crispy dry, so that got missed. Yeah, and the sun just ate it, all of it, every bit of it. It was just going into bloom too. So what a bummer. And then of course, if you try to flood that long bed along the wall, it only floods this way. So you put the hose from the hose that way. That's how it fills up. It won't go that way. So you have to move it down in stages until you finally get to the very end. So it'll go this way and fill up the bed total. And so that whole corner got um, neglected because only this end was getting watered. So, oh well. And yeah, the apricots went into fruit, went into season, but it's just the little icky wild ones because they didn't cross pollinate. They didn't do that. And the big one only put off like two or three nice big sized fruit, but they're way up there. You can see them returning orange, yellow. But we had such a good crop last year, so maybe it's the El Nino. Nino. Yeah. So instead of Yule, but it makes us drier, I guess. We should be thankful, that we don't have storms, but when it does hit, I know it's going to be with hail. It'll just take out all the leaves, just like that. It's like, what? So I did pick a cucumber today, and there's some little squash, and there's a tomato turning red. Yay! And the peppers held up really nicely. And I got my bell peppers in the ground today, finally, and they're done stuff. So they're finally in the ground today. And I have cantaloupe growing. Didn't get to the watermelon. Dang it. Got to put beans in the ground because they're in cups. And I have two eggplant seedlings that came up. So I have two eggplants. Yay! Now I need to get them up and in the ground. But I need to clear all these weeds because, oh, they grow so fast they choke everything out. I can't even see my squash plants. They're big, and that's how tall the grass is. It's not grass, it's the weeds. stick a burr and Everett and all that other junk. So yeah, it's a lot to do. So SSI, the SSA, contacted me regarding my application for SSI, and they said that in the letter, because I opened it last night when I got home, that I have till the 16th, that's tomorrow, to mail this information to them or call them over it. And it's a lot of personal information stuff, but it would be answered by a friend that would see your how this has affected you. So, how has my disability affected me? Well, good Lord. Obviously, this person doesn't know what cancer is because it fucking knocked me down, girl. And I'm the one getting myself back up. Well, how soon can you go to work? You know, I am going to work, but I don't get paid for what I do. And so I'm asking for assistance, like the migrants do. You know the migrants? You know the Gonzaleses? Yeah, and all the Hernandezes? That's it. So it's very simple. So I thought about it and I thought, well, I don't really have any friends to answer those questions. You know, how has it affected me and stuff? And they ask questions like, what do you fix for dinner? Do you go out? What kind of meals do you eat? You know, blah, 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 blah. Do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? You know, it's like weird shit. So, anyways, and then they warn you that if you don't answer these questions, then we'll just have to stick with what you've told us. And we may not approve you because it's insufficient. What? Okay, whatever, you know. So I thought, no, don't contact them. They have no business go digging out all that stuff when I gave them my permission to go into my medical records. So they have permission to contact my doctor and gain all the information they need, which is held under privacy, you know, Privacy Act and all that, HIPAA. But they have the right to see it because I give them approval to see it, and they'll see. I've had three inpatient stays now. And it was only inevitable that these are part of the stages that take place when you have no immunity. Now, how has that affected me? Now, it was an affect, is what they're talking about. Feelings, emotions, versus the effect, which is the physical, you know, restriction, the effect, the effect on you. We have an effect on you. Well, it has been very effective. What can I say? So, anyways, I'm not responding. No, forget that. They can go off of what they got. And when they look down and say, oh shit, the guy's got lung cancer. Yeah, stage two, that's lucky break for him. But he still has a lot of battles. In their battles, you don't even see them coming. No, they just try. And then it's up to me to overcome. Or finally get to the point where I say, I can't take it anymore, girl. Let me go. Go to the light. That's what they do. That's what they do. We all have the right to do that. I know it's humorous. It is humorous. Mm, it's ice cold. It is. That filter. So we're hiking. That's nice. It makes the water taste better. I couldn't take it. Ugh, water was the nastiest stuff. And so I kept assuming that I was getting dehydrated. That's what I thought was my problem. Well, it probably didn't help to not take any more fluids, but the fact is that the bacteria that causes caused my UTI, and the bacterium that was in my gut. Because your flora is there dancing around, and when you have no immunity, it blooms just like candida. And that was one of my earlier symptoms that the doctor just went right over her head. She should have reacted to the fact that I had candida. Yeah. So, anyways, and I was suffering, and she had to do 2 rounds to get rid of it, if she could even get rid of it, because she didn't know what she was doing. Yeah, I saw her in the hospital while I was there. I was here, and oh, I just walked right past her. Her face is all swollen and all hot right now, and like, she's broken out, and her hair looked weird, like a witch, and she had drapes. She had drapes on. She always wears those long like Maud does, or like I don't know, the Golden Girls. You know how the author would wear the long drapey clothing. Yeah, she does the same thing with the weird shoes that are so flat that she's just like shuffling like a little witch, sorcerer type. The ones that are practitioners of pharma. Exactly. Yeah, she's not a doctor. I'm glad to know that. And it's so weird because the name Solar sounds like it would have been so cool, the soul, and I understand the soul body and how the relationship. Solar is pertaining to the soul, the body. She married that, obviously. Yeah, her husband's probably a doctor, right? And he encourages her to keep up with their urgent care. Whatever. We fall victim. Oh, and this NPC thing, it's just going off the charts, man. I'm telling you, there are NPCs everywhere. Now all of a sudden I'm open to it. Maybe emotionally I'm open to it. Maybe this trauma this has woke me up. I don't know, but these people, what is going on? They they have this inability to communicate properly, and they're almost like automatons in what they do, but not anything more than what they do. Like they're not going to go dysfunctional and start helping someone, or go dysfunctional and start fixing or doing extra work. No, they just stand there. I was like, what in the world? And then when you call them on the phone and you talk to them, everything you say is specific. This is weird. I ordered a breakfast burrito. Now it's breakfast. That's the key word. Burrito. So it's egg with something. There are all kinds of combinations to make with it. Egg, burrito with something, and extra somethings. Like cheese and bacon or sausage or chili or whatever, inside your breakfast burrito. It's not a bean burrito. That would have beans in it. It's not a burrito, which would be either beef or sometimes chicken, like a chimichanga. But anyways, a burrito, breakfast burrito. You know what they are. There's an egg in there. So I called down to the kitchen and I said, I want to, for breakfast this time, I think I'm going to have a breakfast burrito and some milk. And they said, what would you like? You can pick up to 5 items to put in the burrito. And I said, oh, well, just bacon and some cheese and extra salsa. So I'm thinking the egg is already in there. And I'll take the bacon and the cheese to go with it and some extra salsa. Thank you, sir. Click. Next morning, I pull up the whole thing off the cover off the plate, and there's a burrito, and it looks kind of dimply, kind of flat. It's an awfully flat burrito. So I opened it up to put some salsa in it, and all that's in there is 2 slices. It's a tortilla with 2 slices of bacon and some cheese. That's it. And that's what I said to the guy. Just some bacon and some cheese. Now, what part of that is a bacon? That's a bacon wrap. So now it's a bacon cheese wrap. It has nothing to do with breakfast. You can just call it a wrap. So these NPCs are unable to think beyond the normal reasoning that a breakfast burrito means it with egg. You know, it's like an omelet inside a tortilla. It's not that hard. Even chorizo, you could put chorizo in there, but you're not going to just have a chorizo tortilla, are you? Oh, that. No, you want the egg and the cheese chorizo and the cheese. Now that'd be awesome. Yeah, thank God I didn't want chorizo. I would have gotten a tortilla with chorizo. Of course, then I would have sent it right down there. It was like, "Boop, go up that. You just missed the whole breakfast part. Where's the breakfast part? Right? Because breakfast is eggs, bacon, sausage, uh, maybe a biscuit, gravy, whatever, that normal pancakes, that sort of thing. Breakfast is a variant of those things, cereals. But in a burrito, breakfast burrito requires eggs. I'm not crazy. No, they're NPCs. They're incapable of comprehending what the world enjoys. They can mimic, but they cannot create. So they hear in only a distinct message of what the meaning of the word is, not the meaning of the word, feeling, emotion. Their cognitive abilities are cut short. Yeah, I don't know how they're hiring these people. So then I realized that through the COVID, they eliminated a lot of the free thinkers, the ones that could think clearly, the ones that could make rational judgments and sound mind, actions with those words. Well, they're sticking them with needles, sticking them with the cold shot, threatening their jobs. And then those that stayed had to comply to the most ridiculous measurements, the mask and the 6 foot thing, and then covering all their instruments with all these little purple tapes and all this bullshit. Bullshit. The light switch, and then you can't go to the park and walk your dog because they had it petitioned off here in New Mexico, and there were other state parks and things like that got shut down, and then they shut down businesses, and they went to all, and it's all contributory to the same. I'm talking about the same thing. The establishment, did this purposely, and now what they're bringing in is all this new stock, all these new young people that are coming out of their training that can probably get 100% on their tests every time, but they can't they can't reason beyond the question. No, they can't reason beyond. They can study it, answer it, photograph it, and not feel it. Never really experiencing it, and when they do experience it, it's textbook to them. So it's almost shallow. It's shallow and it's meaningless in conversation. So to keep running into these people scared the shit out of me for breakfast the other day. I thought the woman was standing there for a tip. It's like, what does she want? Does she want a tip? I said, okay, I'm fine. You can go now. She stood there. She looked like she wanted to lift the lid to the food. And it's like, no, it's cool. Bye. How weird. That's probably why they struck me without the eggs the next day, is to get that guy. And the other nurse is probably connected to it, so it's a network of NPCs. Non-participating characters. They're the ones that are wandering around in your video games and stuff that aren't doing anything. They're busy, but they're not doing anything. You can't really engage them because this is all they know. I'm still wondering. I need to at least go out there and turn off the hose now. Unless there's something else I need. Oh yeah, I need to water that rose and those chilies. Yeah, I'm settling. Oh, well, I guess it's going to be a long, hot summer. And what plants do survive, it's not going to be such a display. It's just going to be a surprise each time something blooms. There's some baby's breath out there that's blooming in pink and white. That's kind of sweet. Yeah. Be nice if it was like blooming at the same time other things are blooming. And all my Shasta daisies kind of shasted out. And I didn't get to deadhead him until just now, so today I deadheaded. So I'll get growth. But yeah, it's too bad. And not all those glad. Those glads that I moved over here, they didn't do it. The ones I left alone, they didn't. And then yet the ones in the far back near the wall, I've never bothered them, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. They've never bloomed. And they're already what 3.5 foot tall spears, but they're not spiking. Yeah, so they're missing something. But obviously, they're not missing enough to grow. They like that. Maybe they've got too much good stuff. That doesn't make any sense. No. Plus, I have a ton more of glads to put in the ground, put back in the ground. They're fine. They've dried out, but they're pretty tough. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what's today? The 15th, which is 6. So there's a hand on the 6. And we know that because the 6 on the 8, which is the potential time as it is the hand by hand. And it's upon the 6. Yeah. So it's an 11, right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's about messages. It's about messages. Oh, and so what happened to the nursing people that came didn't have anything to do? Then said, maybe they could fix my plumbing. But they said, no, then we're not needed here. I mean, we're not doing anything for you. I said, no, you can't. They said, we're surprised that they would call for this because normally our patients aren't in the kind of condition that can be so self-sustaining. You're not just, about, and they're in the living room, on the bed. But, and to think they were proposing that I go to skilled nursing, which is a nursing home, to finish these meds up because I can't be trusted at home to do it myself. What the, no, what the hell? What's wrong with these people? What? So that it came down to no alternative, no alternative. And then to have the insurance company cause such a ruckus and hope because the cost, I mean, they hurt every day versus me doing the flushes and all that stuff. It's no big deal. So I take care of myself and I'll get back to oncology and have them clean it up. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that there's no secondary, whatever, third, fourth, fifth infection, you know. And of course, I got to lecture, don't go out in the yard, don't go out in the sun, don't. What? No, I said, I've already talked to the doctor about all this. I'm not going to let go of my joy. I have enough sense not to be out in the sun too long. I'm not going out there and bake. I'm not like crazy, but I have to be out there. And of course, 7 days shouldn't have knocked me back that far that my skin can't be tolerant of the sun, you know? I have to put sunscreen on. Oh, that shit will cause cancer. Yeah, I put detox and the pesticide stuff on me. I have nerve damage. I start twitching. Yeah, you bug. Although I have to admit, oh, no, I don't know. No one talk about it. Maybe, the dogs are missing. So I don't really feel like I have to worry about it. Um, I feel comfortable that they have a good life and that they're in a good, secure place. And so, what it needs. So I come home and the cat's throwing. The new cat, the Nemo, ooh, it's the same thing Redmond did. So I bet it's the lymphoma, and he's even like acting like something's in his throat, and um, he won't eat because I told him he's too skinny. He didn't grow for a whole week. He didn't grow. The other cat grew. This cat grew. So he has a appointment on Tuesday to do a follow up, which is the second inoculation for what I'm suspecting, which is what Redmond had. So I don't know if it'll be good news or bad news. So I still think it's environmental, but it's not so much in the house because our little cat didn't get it. He came from the shelter, we adopted him, and he came into the house and he never left. So he's never been in my gardens. He's never been in the outside world where they spray the Monsanto bullshit over here. Yeah, next door in their gravel pit that they never water. So it's suspense. So you just keep spraying, 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 spraying. Well, it's known to cause lymphoma. Stop it. When is it going to end? Are you just going to kill your neighbors? Is that your measurement of being the land baron? You could be the land baron. Well, I'd appreciate it if they just buy my house. They need security and management, so why not buy the house and turn this into the manager's house? And there's the apartment complex, 3 buildings. And that would work out because then you got the manager here and security at all times. And they can watch through their kitchen window if anybody been messing with those people's cars. She must see me in the window and she thinks I'm watching her car. Girl, I don't know your car from anybody else's car. If someone's taking parts, I think they're taking their own parts. Those are their parts. Anyways, um, yeah, so I don't know, SSI, we'll just keep our fingers crossed. What can they say? No, no cancer? No, no, you no cancer. You no cancer. Okay, take it back then. It's not. But they're looking for some kind of income or some kind of monies. Some kind of money. I don't know what kind of money they're looking for. But there ain't no money. Well, now there is, because I had to open a bank account. Because you can't get on SSI unless you have a bank account. So I had to get a bank account. So there's $65 in a bank account. So now they have a bank account. They even have the routing. So they have all my information. I explained it to them. I mean, I could go into more detail, but it's all really personal. But in the fact remains is that, well, of the 40 some odd years that I worked, that there's something in there. I mean, I didn't work for the big guys. Except the credential I had a 401k, but it was there for years. Then the 2 years, that's 4 years of having good insurance. All the other companies I ever worked for before then never had insurance. They didn't have health coverage. They didn't have life insurance policies. They didn't have 401ks. And they would give you crap to do a lot of hard work. Yeah, that's how it worked in the 80s because of the Reaganomics. So, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I'd like to go to work, but the contingency would be based on my health condition. It can't be ignored. It has to take priority at any cost. You know, my safety before all else. And then I could work. So how has that affected me? Affected me. Half. That's weird. So, especially for an NPC to catch something like that, they would go boing, boing, and the spring would break. Yeah, it would. So, yeah, I just assume they can have the information that I approved. They can check my credit, they can check my banking, they can check my history, insurance-wise or otherwise, and then they can check my medical. And that's all that's required. But to seek a friend or a family member, can you talk to a friend or a family member, maybe? If you don't, then this is all we can go by. We'll probably likely dismiss the case because we don't have enough information to justify whatever. I can retire in 2 years. I mean, file for a retirement. You know, it's my SSI. It would be a reduced amount, but I could. I mean, anybody could. So I don't understand, Mr. Migrant Holder. We're going to threaten you with whatever. We need your friend. Like, I've got friends. I don't know anybody. Yeah. Of course, they could always look up my YouTube videos too. They could go back and look at all the misery. Sure, and figure it out. So, not having any income, well, what can I do about that? You know, non-car. You know, I have a non-compliant ID, which the bank called me about. They contacted me. The bank did. They're all freaked out because I have a expired ID. So now it's expired. Good Lord. So now my non-compliant ID has expired, but it did so while I was inpatient. So, oh, I guess it must have done it at my birthday. They should expire on your birthday, so you remember, right? Maybe it was since November, and I just didn't. But I was getting sick then. I was getting all funky. By December, I was all funked out. By January, I was there. February, and Solars was just digging me around. And then by March, I had a fit. I walked into the ER. They took a chest X-ray, and that's when the alarm just went shoo, like a bird flying, soaring. So I didn't have any control over that after that. Not really. And then to participate in the treatment was because that's all there is. And it's such a fast growing cancer that if you want to start knocking it out, well, then you don't have very long to live. And you could say, well, there's all these other alternatives. It's the fastest growing cancer. It appeared like that. It didn't look really strong, and it wasn't going to let go. So I did the right thing. Yeah, and infections, well, that's just understandable. I should get on yogurt now to replenish my flora and probiotics, that sort of thing. But and I do have some healthy pills and all that stuff for vitamins. Yeah, and get my immunity back. That's the most important thing. But see, I'm isolated here at the house. I don't have any company other than Jeff, and there's very minimal contact. So it doesn't mean there's no bacteria or Monsanto bullshit next door coming into my yard for whatever purpose. The wind blows and the sand just moves. And what's in that sand is the particulate matter of the dried Monsanto that's suspended. So even in the winds, it's distributing cancer. Yeah, so the rates are going to start going up all around us, all because of profit and the inability to go out and pick your weeds. That's what I'm doing today. I'm going out and trying to pick as many weeds. I got the peppers all cleared out. And now I have to do a squash and then on to the counter. Yeah, and get a grip on it. Then that's before I'll start filming again out there because it looks terrible. Oh, I could have cried. And I wasn't blaming Jeff at all. It's just that I was upset at him that he was taking such attitude about me being shot. He acted like I was blaming him. Well, it was. I wasn't. I know that, but no, don't whine at me like I'm scolding you because I ain't scolding. I'm just upset. I should be able to voice it. It's my interest to voice it. That's who I am. I'll always be that way without guile. It's a sad thing. People don't understand what it means. Yeah, so I'm bound by it. And something very interesting. So, anyways, Happy New Year. Get a message today, number 11 day, which basically is two. It's two ones. Could be a couple. It could be partnership. Could be balance. Yeah, quality. Yeah. But if you turn that 11 upside down, it's still an 11. Yeah. But if you turn it to its side, it's an equal sign. So there's the balance right there. But there's equal sign because when you do look at it, you can see sometimes in the world the imbalances. So this might be a message through the imbalance because you recognize that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not right. Just like the nursing company that was here, they said, well, there's nothing we can do, so we're not going to come back. We'll just sign you off the list. You canceled. I said, that's great. That's perfect because I'm not going to let you stick me and I'm not going to let you do anything with me. And they said, cool, okay. And they left it. How simple is that? So we should just have the pharmacy drop off the stuff at my house and got me home. But the insurance wouldn't approve that either. So we had to wait. They approved the home health. Oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not in my hammock. So, and I really am prepared. I am prepared. I wasn't before because I wasn't quite right. But, and I'm speaking now before the immunotherapy, so I don't know what's going to happen after that. But I want to get the bicycle out and get the tires fixed because they got a slow leak or something. I could fill them up and ride around, but we have solid tubes to go in, so I don't ever have to worry about getting a flat. The only thing I have to worry about is someone stealing the bag because it's a really cool looking bag. But get it adjusted to my height and then let me take off and go around the neighborhood. Maybe I can get over to Gooseman's and do some, shopping. Yeah, pick up some seeds or some plants that might be on sale there, or get to know people. It's always that way. When I get out and meet people like that, that's when I get offered a job. It always has been that way in the past. It wasn't so much I was looking through the paper looking for a job because all the listings are fake and all bullshit anyways. They're all con jobs, and they're not good pay. And you have to go through the workforce commission, whatever employment office. But yeah, in my history, I've always met people that said you should work with us, or you should try to. Would you like to do this for us? And yeah, cool. Because it's someone they can talk to, they can communicate. If you can communicate the thing, you can pretty much do a job if you can physically handle it. Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? So I do want to get back on a bike. That'd be good for me. And I won't be taking up smoking again. That's out of the question. I'll be an edible kind of guy, because that works for me. It's not the instant. It's not the boost. It's not the high. It's not that finally relax right away. No, it takes about an hour and a half before it finally kicks in. But when it does, it's like, oof, that feels good. That's kind of that state of relief, especially from the shoulder thing with the impingement. It's not impingement. They cut the nerve, so it's just an impingement. It's cut. That's why it's not. It's not. And it's thank God it's not the same side as my port, because then it would be very awful. You can see it's all puffy because it's got wrappings around it. Yeah, because I didn't want the cats to scratch it. It's like a membrane skin around it, a surgical bandage. And so I have them put a regular bandage that I can replace, and I have extras. They just sticky on, so I can sleep without a shirt on comfortably, without worrying that the cat's going to scratch it or jump on it. What's that? Yeah, and the cat will say, "Oh, look, there's a dangly thing hanging off that thing." That would be kind of shocking. It would be shocking. Yeah, it would be. Lovely. So I got rid of most of my wrinkles while I was in the hospital because of the hydration. Because I was pretty wrinkled. But I look forward to getting hair back again. Yeah, and it helps in the identity of the person. I mean, in yourself, the way you identify, the way people treat you too. Although I think, yeah, Nine times out of ten, most people look at me and they think, cancer, which is cool. I don't care. I mean, maybe I'm an alien. I need to get new glasses. I do. I can't stand the bifocals anymore. Which I don't know. But the nose bridge thing already broke off. See? The nose, goes in my nose bridge. Just a bump sticks in my nose. They were cheap glasses. Yeah. I think I'm authorized to get one pair a year. Yeah. I think the next time I get glasses are going to be plastic, with the built-in nose bridge. Oh, do they put them in? Yeah. It's built in. Yeah, so then I don't have to fuss with that sort of thing. Because my nose fits it, it just slides down crazy. But I can't see my feet when I'm walking. I can't see below the fucking stupid bifocal. And the bifocal only works if I hold something up close. It doesn't work for distance. So when I'm walking, I have to really look down over the bifocal to see the ground. That's not good. Who invented that? They should give me two pair, one for this spectrum up here for correction, and the other one for reading. Yeah, keep the reading one here next to my computer so I can read. Where else am I going to read? Oh, I got water running out there. I better go get to it. Okay, take care and have a wonderful message. This is an angelic message day about balance and equality. Yes. So, and it's self-advocacy. So it's the one on the one. It's the mirror. Yeah. And it's identity. Yeah. So the potential of time, the hand is identified. Yeah. Who's playing their hand. That's pretty easy to see. Isn't it? Okay. Take care. Bye.